So Gail says she's not good at following up. And, you know, that's why you guys are here today, to just learn how to actually follow up with people. So if you guys have questions at any time, please, please, please drop them in the box. This is something that is really, like, really an important skill for you to develop. And it is a skill, right? Following up is a skill. So don't worry if you don't have it yet. It is absolutely something that over time and with practice you can get better at. I certainly was horrendous at following up in the beginning. So this is really, once again, one process that can allow you to double your income or more, right? So if you're checking this out, don't forget, you can sign up for my weekly workshop series at NicoleLoya.com/workshop. Every Wednesday at noon, we are diving deep into a new topic that is going to help you build a bigger business through multiple income streams. And today we're going to learn about the reasons that follow-up needs to be prioritized, the types of follow-up that you need to do. There's more than one type of follow-up. And you're going to learn how to manage and create systems for follow-up so that you're consistent with it, right? And the results that you can get from follow-up. So you may be wondering, like, what exactly is the follow-up formula? And the follow-up formula, follow-up allows you to build relationships with people. It allows you to strengthen your relationships with people. It allows you to check on previous leads. And by people, I mean potential collaborators, potential media opportunities, people that you meet at networking events, right? Potential clients. These are all people that you can follow up with, check in on, share helpful information with, so that you can strengthen the relationship and it can benefit both of you in some way, right? And I think that's really, really important, because I think that a lot of people don't make follow-up a priority because, once again, they are worried about being salesy. They are worried about being scammy, right? You're worried about being pushy. You're worried people are only think you're out for selling and making money and profit. And, you know, that is not the truth, right? Follow up is a priority because we all need to be connected to other people for our businesses to thrive. And other people have businesses that need to be connected to us too. Or let's be real, clients need to be connected to us so that they can get our help and support in solving problems. And this is something that, once again, is really important because it's so easy to skip it, right? And to feel like, okay, I already talked to somebody once, nothing happened, it's done, it's over with, that relationship is going to work out. Or, you know, yes, this client said they were interested or said they needed to check with their husband or something else, and now I'm just going to wait to hear from them, right? But the truth is that people get overwhelmed, people are busy, and, you know, people forget, and it's not intentional, right? So why is follow-up a priority? It allows you to build solid, long-term relationships with, once again, potential clients, with collaborators, right? With media, with people who have a similar audience to you. It allows you to get access to steady leads for your programs and services, right? One of my clients now is doing monthly workshops, and she can follow up with the people who came before. She can follow up with the people she's connected to that would be the ideal audience for this. And she can do that every single month and really continue to have steady leads. That's going to continue to grow as your follow-up pool continues to grow. Why is follow-up a priority? Because it actually prevents you from being scammy and salesy. Building a relationship, nurturing a relationship means you're not only showing up when you need something, and this is where people get confused. They think that because they're like, they should only follow up about a sale or something like that, and that is not the case, right? And if you're on and you're listening, I'd love to know, have you ever felt scammy or salesy or pushy or worried about that? Is that something that has affected your ability to follow up? So first, I want to get into what types of follow-up should you be doing, right? And the first type of follow-up that you should be doing is potential referral sources, right? So when you start a business, and I'm talking primarily about a service-based business, but if you have a product-based business or something like that too, like this is really, really important. This is just as important, right? So for example, and I think we have Laura on who has a product-based business. So I'll be happy to give you some examples, Laura, if you have any questions. So first of all, potential referral sources, right? These are people that you can send you clients, right? So for example, if you're a dietitian, you want to be thinking about who do you need to be connecting with? What kind of referrals do your clients need? What kind of extra support and services do they sometimes need? And how can you build relationships with those people? Because not only are you going to be able to send them clients, they can send you clients too, because you can do the reverse referral system, right? So if you're a dietitian building a health practice, and potential referral sources are obviously going to be doctors, right? Are obviously going to be therapists, are obviously going to be other people in the health and wellness world, potentially acupuncturists, things like that, right? All people in these types of roles where they have the same audience as you. They have a complementary audience as you. Laura does jewelry making. So for her, for example, potential referral sources might be, and her jewelry is beautiful and very special. So it would be people who would be looking for gifts, right? So perhaps, people who work in the wedding industry who are either like looking for a gift for their client who's a bride, for something special to commemorate that occasion, or people who honestly are looking for wedding planners, right? Who are helping their client get vendors and the client wants personalized jewelry. Or maybe somebody who owns a bridal shop and wants to carry some of the pieces there. So those are potential referral sources. And you always want to make sure that you are connecting with a few of these, because this is the biggest problem I see. People only try to reach out or build these relationships when business dries up. If you can reach out and get some higher level relationships with some of these people continually, then you're never going to have to worry about business drying up. You can keep it going. Then there are potential collaborators, okay? So these are people who can also actually be referral sources, but Hugh is somebody that maybe you want to do a joint workshop with. Last week I went to this very cool event. It was a meet and greet with all these people who work with kids, right? So there was a chiropractor, there was a dentist, a pediatric dentist, there was an OT person, and they actually had it at a place that offers workshop and classes for kids, right? So these are all people who are going to be referral sources, but they're also collaborators, right? Like they all teamed up for an event to bring in everybody's audience and connect with more people and share everybody. So it's somebody who you can do an event with, somebody who you can do a workshop with. It can be online or in person, right? Somebody who you can do something like that with, that you can team up with people and get access to each other's audience and share it, right? Previous leads, right? This is important. A lot of people do a consult with someone, or someone reaches out to them for help, and maybe you invite them on a call and never hear from them again, right? Or maybe you have a consult and they say they're interested. This happens all the time, right? Where people say they're interested in working with you and you don't have a clear follow-up process. So what happens is you're just kind of waiting for the person to get back to you. Or like I said, maybe they said they have to talk to their husband, or maybe they honestly aren't ready yet. They say they want it in a few months or what, right? So many things can happen. And what happens is you never follow up with them. So you make up stories, right? You say, they're not interested anymore. They don't want to make the investment. And we build all these negative stories about why they don't work with us. And a lot of times it's just that people get overwhelmed. They're nervous maybe to sign up for something or to make the investment. And they kind of just fall off, your email gets lost, or maybe they didn't even see the email. That happens to me all the time. And as a result, people don't check in with you. And one of the reasons that I actually became passionate about follow-up is that sometimes I was reaching out to people about buying something, right? Like buying a service or even buying a product. And people didn't follow up with me. And I kind of felt like shitty. Like I was like, maybe they don't really want to work with me, or maybe they're not interested in creating something, or, you know, there is no follow-up process. Like I don't feel like I have a relationship with them. So I'm going to go to someone else who cares. And I noticed that when people followed up with me, whether it was a web designer or a copywriter or a coach, or let's be real, right? I love when my eye doctor sends the follow-up postcard every year, like, hey, time for your appointment, right? That makes me more likely to go to them because one, I've forgotten, I've gotten busy, whatever. And two, they're just making it so easy for me. There's the information. Here's the call for the appointment. It's time to go, right? So this is really, really important. Once again, like you are potentially losing client leads if you never follow up with them. And it's just that people get busy and overwhelmed and then they feel like crap, right? And they don't want to reach out to you because they're embarrassed or ashamed that things have taken long. And once again, this is about really just being open. Like maybe some people aren't interested, but you know what? You can't build that story. It's up to that person to say like, I've changed my mind or I'm not interested anymore. And I think that people just assume that. We assume that, and that's why we prevent ourselves from following up. So for you guys that are on, do you follow up with previous leads or people that were interested in your services? Or do you just kind of let it go? Do you talk to people or do you follow up with people? Or I'd love to know what you've actually tried. And once again, just a prime example of this is a few years ago, there was someone who I loved their jewelry on Etsy and I wanted to order a bunch of gifts. And I checked in with them and truthfully, I just got overwhelmed. Like details and follow-up is like, this is so funny. When it comes to things for me, like I'm not good with follow-up or following through. Now, once again, this is why I've had to learn how to do this for leads and clients because I know it's not intentional, right? So I would have literally put in an order for hundreds of dollars of jewelry with this person on Etsy, but she never followed up with me. And by then I just was like, never mind, you know, but if she had just kind of checked in and said, hey, you know, how are you doing? What can we do? Is there anything I can help you with? I would have been so relieved for somebody to take that pressure of opening that back up and me not having to like search them out. It would have easily signed up. Now, previous clients, depending on your business, this can be really important, right? And I follow up with all my previous clients. And once again, this is not about only following up to get sales, right? That is what happens as a result of a good follow-up process. But I love my clients. I love my old clients. And I want to continue the relationship. I want to know how they're doing. I want them to know I'm available. And I'm not saying like have poor boundaries and give free services out to previous clients, but check in on them, see what they're doing. How can you help them still, right? Is there something you can share for them? Now, depending on your business, you know, once again, if you're a doctor or something like this, maybe that's not always possible. But, you know, I think for most of us, there's definitely ways to check in or have that set up. And you know, it's not that hard to check in on people. So I do check in on people and they come back to me as a result because they know I'm there. They know that I care about them. I'm not only checking in when I have something to sell them. I check in regularly like, hey, how was your year? What happened? You know, and I love getting the updates and I love them knowing. I want them to know they can still come to me for help, whether it's to work with me again, or maybe they need another business service, you know, where I can send them to one of my referral sources and strengthen that relationship and give them someone they trust. It is absolutely something that can really benefit their business so greatly. So another thing to follow up on, right? Pitches and lead generation opportunities. So that means like, hey, did you submit yourself for a podcast interview? Did you submit yourself for a guest blog interview and never heard from somebody? Did somebody mention that they would like to feature you somewhere and you haven't heard from them in a while? You just have to follow up, you guys. Like you just have to get in contact with them and see where things are at, right? And make sure that you give yourself the opportunity to get that lead generation opportunity, right? And it's about like not feeling bad and not worrying about being rejected or hearing no. It allows you to create a plan for next steps, to know if you need to pitch elsewhere, to know if it's just like not working out anymore, and just to like check in and let them know you're interested. And once again, things get lost. You know, I get a lot of pitches for speaking opportunities and interviews and things like that. And I'm going to be honest, like I'm not always the best at following up on them. They easily get lost in my email. And I'm so grateful to the people who reach out again and check in again, because truthfully, it's nothing personal. I want to be a part of it. It just gets lost. I forget. It's not a priority. My clients are a priority. So it gives me that opportunity to still have that happen. It gives them that opportunity to still collaborate with me because they are following up. And networking context, right? How many times have you met someone at a networking event, at a social event, and you're like, yeah, let's connect further, or here's my card. And then you just kind of dump these cards in a pile. Here's the thing. Most people don't follow up. Most people don't have a strong follow-up system. So if you take the opportunity to create one and to say, hey, it was really great to meet. Hey, I really, or like if you talk about an opportunity and say, hey, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow, then you can actually do it a lot easier, right? And say, hey, do you want to meet up for a coffee? Or, hey, I really liked our brief call. Do you want to connect further? Or, hey, I know you mentioned that you're planning to move. Here's the name of my real estate agent who I adore. Like, how can you just support people and follow up? It's not always about immediate, like, do you have clients for me, right? Do you have customers for me? It's about building that relationship and starting it out with a lot of people, and it's going to gradually like narrow down. It's going to gradually kind of just like, once again, narrow down and maybe get a little bit smaller over time. But in that you're not talking to 100 people, you're talking to 10 people you have really solid relationships with. So for those of you who are on, I'd love to know, who do you want to most work on following up with? Or do you follow up with some of these types? Do you do some of these types of follow-ups, or not all of them, or want to add some of them in? So now that we know about the types of follow-up, I really would like, I bet you're thinking, how the heck do I manage all of this, right? And I think that this is the piece that makes people feel like follow-up is scammy or sleazy or pushy, right? I think that this is really the piece, is that there's no process, there's no system. So you're kind of doing it randomly or sporadically from a place of panic when you know you need sales or leads or clients or customers or opportunities, right? So one, you want to manage it, right? You want to really keep track of it. So I personally use a spreadsheet, and all of my clients get access to this spreadsheet. So I use a spreadsheet. It's just a Google Drive spreadsheet. I like it because I can access Google Drive anywhere, and I can separate it by category. So it's one spreadsheet, but there's different tabs, and I can have it for potential referral partners. I can have it for potential clients, and I can have it for like media opportunities and things like that, list building opportunities. So it really allows me to see, one, it helps me just even formulate a list, right? Like, who do I want to get in contact with? I can make a big list of people, right? It also makes sure you don't forget people. This is really, really important too, because it's so easy, like once you start doing this, to think, I'll remember to check on them, and then you keep postponing it and you don't even remember when the last time was. And then you're like kind of just looking through your sent emails. This is what I used to do. I used to go through all my old sent emails and see like, who haven't I talked to in a while? Who was I supposed to follow up with? What a waste of time, right? So make sure that you're managing this as you go along. When you talk to someone, update it. If you are supposed to reach out to them again, update it so maybe even schedule it into your calendar, right? Other ways to manage this can be a CRM, which is a client management system. So something like 17 Hats or just Dubsado, it actually allows you to put in leads, things like that, so that you know what the next steps are. Or you can use project management systems like Trello or Asana to create systems for yourself. Once again, I'm not the best at creating systems, so I have amazing project manager who does that for me, but even I can manage the spreadsheet. And, you know, once again, that's why all my clients get access to that spreadsheet. Like, that is really gold. It should be open all the time. You should be looking at it. It is really important for that. So Gail says she tends to go through emails too as a way of keeping track. And I think it is like, you want to update that system because it becomes just organized. It's easy to mess with things and you're wasting time searching. Whereas if you keep a spreadsheet and if you have that spreadsheet and you know exactly who you should be following up with, what the purpose is. And like I said, you can separate it by category. So, you know, if you're launching something in a few months, if you're doing a group in a few months and you know you need more referral sources, you can really begin checking in with those people, nurturing those relationships early. So the other thing you need is a timeline, right? You need some way to manage this timeline and keep, you know, make sure that you're doing this. So one, have a calendar, right? Have a calendar, be looking at the calendar, know when you need to be talking to who you need to be talking to, right? So a while ago, when I launched my podcast, I knew I needed to be connecting with people that I wanted to interview. So I got in touch with them and started putting out invites and checking in on them and giving the opportunity to work with me and to outreach to them and follow up and see if they wanted to be a part of it. So I wasn't last minute scrambling for people. The other thing that's important in your timeline, make sure you have consistent follow-up time in your schedule every week. I see this is a priority task. This is a task that brings in money to your business, right? This is just as important as seeing the clients and getting payments from them. This is important as selling your services, right? This brings in sales. So this is something that needs to have a consistent spot in your schedule. Avoid Fridays. I see people do this stuff on Fridays all the time because they postpone this stuff all week. They get stressed about it. They get nervous about it. They turn it into a torturous process. And then Friday at 5 p.m., they're sending out emails. That means that it's going into a thing when people are not checking their email, when they're not as active, and it's gonna get lost. So it is very important that you start the follow-up process earlier in the week, right? And that you're consistent with it so you can get used to it and it's not this big thing or stressful thing, right? And once again, you can do this batching style. I really recommend that you outreach and follow up with multiple people in a row, okay? So this is really important in that, you know, don't just reach out to one person here or there. Don't be checking your email a million times a day. This needs to be scheduled in. This needs to be done with multiple people in a row. You can get into the mode, your energy gets up, you know, you can get into that energetic piece of like, this feels good. I'm excited to connect with people. And, you know, who should I be checking in on? Who haven't I heard from in a while? Who can I help right now? Who can I help, right? Like, this is so important. Who can I help? That's the attitude that you really want to be going into follow-up with. So what to keep track of, right? The type of follow-up. This for clients? Is this for referral sources? And is this from networking events? Is this list building opportunities? Oh my God, you guys, yesterday I was doing an interview and I got like one of those hacking coughs right in the middle of it. I felt so bad. Thank God it wasn't live. So I don't want that to happen again today. So once again, type of follow-up, right? Who is it with? What's the category? The date, when did you talk to them? Notes from the call, what did you talk about? If it was a client call, right? Or if it was a potential sale, if it was a sales call, did you give them a package? Is there a deadline for them to get back to you? What else do you need to know from this call, right? If it was with a potential referral partner, did you talk about coffee? Did you say you follow up again after the holidays? Make notes, put it in there and put it in your calendar because you can't remember it all. And what happens is when you try to just remember it all in your head, we drop the ball, right? We drop the ball. We don't do it, and then we feel like crap. We feel not reliable. We feel not competent, and all those not so great feelings come up, right? And that affects our self-esteem and confidence in reaching out, and affects our self-esteem and confidence in being a successful business owner. You know, you have to put yourself into the shoes of the business owner you want to be, even if you're not there yet. So, you know, if you want to be, you know, a business owner with a booked out schedule and lots of referral sources and good relationships, then you have to start acting like you already have that now by having these clear systems in place. So once again, keep track of when you need to follow up with them again. Keep track. If you pitched yourself, keep track of it. So you know, like, I need to check in a week or two. And you're going to start developing these timelines too of how often you follow up, right? You know, how do you know to check on someone? And this is really good too, because when you start to connect with people, you can give them the process. Meaning, like, if I talk to a potential client, we leave the call knowing what the next steps are. Either they're planning to sign up by this date, right? Or they need to check on some things, and we set up a follow-up call, or we set up a date to check in again. So people know the next step. So it's not just you popping in and being annoying and making it up as you go along. You're setting that person up to know the next steps, right? Does anyone have any questions? Is anyone sort of feeling so much better knowing that there is these clear processes that you can take, right? So the next step I really want to talk about that not enough people talk about is the mindset piece of follow-up, right? The mindset piece of building relationships. And here's the thing. The number one reason I hear people don't want to follow up is they don't want to be pushy, they don't want to be salesy, they don't want to be scammy or annoying. And part of the reason that they feel that way is because they are unintentionally being salesy and pushy. They are only absolutely reaching out to people when it is necessary and they need clients, right? So it's like, hey, let me reach out to this person who shares my audience and see if they have any clients for me, even though I don't know them and I haven't built up a relationship for them, right? Or even like setting up consults, or, you know, setting up lead generation. And it's like, you want the sale, you want the person to sign on with you. And that's all you're focusing on, right? So you have to set the intention that this follow-up process is about helping others, right? You need to set that intention before every call, before every outreach. Say, I'm excited to reach out to this person because I can help them with their business, or I want to find out how I can help them with their business. If you're just reaching out to random people hoping they're going to send you clients, it's going to feel shitty, and it is kind of being a little scammy. But if you're actually like changing the mindset and realizing that you can help other people and you can also then receive and benefit from that relationship, it's going to feel a lot more better. And once again, that's why you really do need these processes, and that's why you need to be following up all the time. And I'm not saying like cram your schedule with follow-up, but, you know, make sure that you're continually nurturing your relationships. That's what follow-up is. It's nurturing relationships. That's the follow-up formula. Nurturing relationships consistently so that you can help each other's businesses grow, right? Or that you can help make it easy for people to work with you. If, once again, like I said, people have lost out on hundreds or thousands of dollars of sales from me because there was no follow-up. They're just like, whatever you want. And it kind of was like, don't you even care? Don't you want to work with me? You know what I mean? Like, I personally like people to check in. So once again, just keep staying in helping mode. It's not just about helping your business, right? It's going into it as to how you can help people work with you more easily, how you can actually help, people send you clients, all of that, right? And it's staying open. It's just really like not getting upset when things don't happen on that first initial outreach because you got out of your comfort zone. It's about really staying open to new possibilities and making sure that you allow yourself to connect with more people. This is just, really, really important. So keep that in mind. You have to stay open. You never know what is going to, what opportunities you're going to get. I just wanted to go over just really quick. Once again, these are the big follow-up mistakes. Inconsistency, right? Like not creating those consistent patterns for you to do it and only reaching out when you are in need of income or sales or money and feeling stressed about it. Not being helpful, right? Like not going into the mindset of it, like, how can I help this person? If you're confident about your services and the way you work with people, then you shouldn't feel bad about offering them to people, right? Or following up with people about them when they express interest. Stay in the mindset of being helpful. And like I said, just being in the wrong mindset, like not being intentional, being in that pressure place of sales. And sometimes we really do need sales. Sometimes we really do need leads. But once again, take a moment to set the intention for the call and be present. I used to have to do this all the time when I had coaching calls, like free consults, is I was so nervous about the sale and about getting the sale when I was in times where I was growing my business and I really needed that income now. And as a result, I would get very like not good. I would be pressured and I wouldn't really be able to be in that moment connecting to the person who was on the consult with me. And I'm sure they could sense that. So what results can you get from the follow-up formula? Consistent leads, right? You're not going to lose leads. People aren't going to just book a call or say they want to work with you and then disappear. You're going to let them know you're going to be checking in on them if they aren't signed up, and like, you know, just say like, hey, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to check in a few days. Let me know either way if you're interested. Be direct with people. If people aren't being direct and saying no to something they said they wanted initially, like that's on them, right? You can't take the responsibility or protect them from that. Everybody would be better off if people were honest about the follow-up process, right? So you can get consistent leads too when you build relationships with people in your network and other referral partners and collaborators, right? Like it's going to be easy. You're going to be front of mind because you're genuinely connecting with them all the time, not just when you need sales. And that gives you consistent leads. Speaking opportunities, right? I see this quick error. I see this all the time in that, you know, you go out and you meet people and suddenly they know like, oh, you know, I know someone who's looking for this. This happens to my clients all the time. Just last night, my client went to a networking event and she got 2 speaking invitations and an invitation to share her business on someone's YouTube channel. But guess what? She already knows. She's like, I'm going to follow up. You got to follow up to make these things actually happen. Don't put all the work on the other person. If somebody is offering you an opportunity, follow up so that this can continue to happen. And clients and customers for new programs, right? Once again, when you're launching something new, these people, if professional referrals are going to want to actually send you people because you can tell them. So you can say like, hey, I'm launching a new program if you know anyone. And then 2, like I can tell you guys, I did this a few years ago when I was shifting my business into coaching. I did about 40 free calls over a month. And I was then able to follow up with those people. I created my first mastermind as a result of those calls. And then I was able to follow up with those people and they signed up for the mastermind or they signed up for one-to-one coaching. So once again, it was so much easier for me to get started with that program because I went back to people and they followed up and it wasn't this whole stressful deal, right? It was really, really quite easy. They followed up with me, they connected with me, and they signed up. So I was able to create new programs from that. New income streams. One of my clients went to a networking event. One of my clients from my last mastermind went to a networking event, and she actually connected with someone right there at the event. The lady invited her to go to this place called the V Club where they do workshops on intimacy and all kinds of things. My client worked with couples, so this was right up her alley. She did the follow-up that day. She left the meeting, went with her to check it out. And, you know, they offered her the opportunity to do a workshop. Now, she had to follow up on that to make sure it happened. And it was hard for her because she felt bad. She, you know, was like, it seemed difficult. It seemed scary. But she followed up, and sure enough, she got to do her first workshop. She got paid for it. That's a new income stream. And then from that workshop, she got other speaking opportunities and things like that. So this is literally how it works, you guys. This is the people that you're looking at that you're like, why is their business like this? Why is it so easy for them? How are they getting all these opportunities? This is what they're doing. They're following up to build healthy relationships. They may not be talking about it, right? But that's exactly what's going on behind the scenes. They are continually following up and nurturing people and making sure that this relationship matters. Once again, you get a strong and healthy network. No more feeling isolated in your business. No more wondering like, how do other people do things? Like, you are building solid long-term relationships, right? This isn't just to follow up with 1,000 people one time. It's to really like get to those 10 solid people over rounds of multiple follow-ups you have great relationships with. And honestly, opportunities and resources for your customers and clients too, right? So because you're building relationships with people, like you're learning about their services. And when your client needs an adjunct service or referral for something, you can make it to a trusted source rather than, and that's better customer service, right? Rather than them having to search it out themselves, right? And honestly, like my clients have gotten so many unique opportunities from follow-up. Once again, thousands of dollars in clients, tons of speaking opportunities, tons of podcast interviews or guest blogs, writing gigs that were worth thousands of dollars. One of my clients got invited to apply for a grant that brought in multiple 5 figures into her business. Like, this is serious. This is what happens when you build relationships and you follow up. One of my clients honestly got her dream office space. She initially did cold outreach to build relationships with people, nurtured those relationships, and one of them turned into offering her an amazing office space at a great price in Manhattan. So these are some of the results. And I'd love to know, what results do you guys want to see, right? What results would you like to get from doing follow-up? I think that that's something that is really important to get clear on, once again, what do you want to actually see from people? What do you want to see happen? Because it's easy to say, hey, I'd like to do this, but I think that really it is so easy to skip it. It's so easy to not continue on with it. So make sure that you are really being consistent with this. So for you guys, I really want to invite you to get on the wait list for my next mastermind, the Unstoppable Mastermind, at NicoleLoya.com/mastermind. This is my 6-month program for entrepreneurs who are looking to scale through multiple income streams and grow a bigger business. My clients in the last mastermind seriously got amazing results. Some of them adding $50,000 to their already successful business. Some of them taking their income from, $500 a month to 10xing it to $5,000 a month. Some of them adding in new income streams or, adding on new team members, things like that, like really amazing results and feeling so much more confident, getting speaking opportunities. And one of the things they do is they really do learn this process and the opportunities open for them. So I would love for you guys to get on the wait list for the next Unstoppable Mastermind at NicoleLoya.com/mastermind. I'm so glad that so many of you joined today. If you have any other questions about this, just drop them in. If you have any questions that come up about follow-up or anything like that after this, just drop them in the box or hit reply to my email and let me know what's on your mind so I can answer it for you. But make sure that you get on the list for the next mastermind so you can get access to early bird pricing and things like that. If you need anything at all, just let me know. I'm happy to connect with you, and I'm excited to hear about how you guys follow up and some of the wins you get. Make sure you share them with me. Talk to you guys soon.